We will begin with our open microphone speakers this morning. Ms. Rios.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Your first 5 registered speakers are Marvin Crenshaw, Brittany Olson, Chantel Arashvand, Howard Garrett, and Kermit Mitchell. I will first recite the speaker guidelines. Speakers must observe the same rules of propriety and decorum applicable to members of the City Council. Any person making personal, pertinent, profane, or slanderous remarks will be removed from the session of the meeting. Individuals are allowed 3 minutes to speak. You'll notice the timer at the podium. When your time is up, please allow the next individual their turn. You should state your name and address for the record, as well as address your comments to Mayor Rawlings. If you have any handouts that we have not distributed on your behalf now, it's important that you go ahead and get them to our officers on the sideline, as it does affect your speaking time. Your next speaker, Brittany Olson. Ms. Olson will be followed by Chantel Arashvand, Howard Garrett, and Kermit Mitchell.
Mr. Mayor, before the speakers speak, can we ask them to be close to the mic? Because sometimes we can't hear them.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll listen.
Okay. My name is Brittany Olson, and I live in District 1. I'm here this morning to sum up a year of campaigning. Our campaign to stop fluoridation in Dallas, we had an opponent. Our opponent was much bigger and stronger. Physically, our opponent was hardly present, only 5 very weak pro-fluoride presentations this whole year. The pro-fluoride advocates would not come forward to open debate. We did not need to overcome science, logical reason, good medical practice, or a valid moral issue. The fluoridation program has none of these elements. The real opponent to our campaign was status quo. If any of you vote yes to purchase the hydrofluorosilicic acid, you are not spending the money entrusted to you prudently. You are not helping the poor, unfortunate children. You are not doing your job as a sworn elected official. You are just asking for status quo. We commend Scott Griggs and Adam Medrano for standing with Sheffie, and we thank Dwayne Caraway for telling us we had his vote. We believe more of you will make the right and honorable decision and vote no to the purchase of this neurotoxin. Your votes will make history today. Since 1999, 400 communities have shut off their fluoridation tap. Albuquerque stopped fluoridation in 2012, in large part because their raw water had 0.5 parts per million. It is time for Dallas to do the same. This last year, we brought many things to light about the fluoridation program, like the fact LULAC naturally opposes fluoridation, and they oppose it because Hispanics and blacks are disproportionately affected by fluoride. We made known a council vote can halt the fluoridation program in Dallas, and we highlighted the fact Park Cities has never fluoridated and they do not have a cavity crisis. After this recorded vote today, several more will see the truth about fluoridation, and they will know this council had the opportunity to change a long-standing practice that has been held up by propaganda and not research. Many will also know you did not have a public hearing or hold town halls to get their input. These are just a few of the things revealed during this campaign, and they are not going back in the dark. When at least 8 of you vote no to item number 44 today, this will be a win-win-win situation. You will save the city money, you will make Dallas the largest city in America to stop the harmful program of artificial fluoridation, and the people that believe and want the fluoride will still have fluoride freely flowing out of their tap due to the high fluoride level in their raw, untreated water. If you came into this chamber today thinking you were going to vote yes, please rethink this. Will you really be able to justify this action to the 72% that voted no to fluoridation in the D Magazine poll? Your status quo vote will not end this conversation about fluoridation in Dallas. It will make the volume louder. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chantel Arashvand. Chantel. Howard Garrett and Kermit Mitchell will follow.
Good morning. I'm Chantal Rashvan. I live in District 10. Some of you here may be pro-fluoridation and be happy there already is fluoride in the water. But as you guys and Brittany also said, 72% of Dallas voted in the D Magazine, and they said that they are not pro-adding fluoride to the water. I'm going to show you guys a video today, and here are even more people that are also against it. Mr. Allen, you're my councilman. I'm asking you to please vote no today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Your next speaker, Howard Garrett. Mr. Garrett will be followed by Kermit Mitchell. Kermit Mitchell will be the final speaker this morning.
Good morning. I'm Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I live in Lakewood in Dallas. And through my column in the Dallas Morning News, my books, and my radio show, I'm basically in the business of helping people be more healthy. I've gotten involved in this issue because I learned some things, and the three main things I like to point out to people, and I have a lot of experience with the first one, is that this fluoride that we're using in the city water is not a natural fluoride. It's an acid, it's an industrial waste, toxic industrial waste that comes from the fertilizer industry, phosphate manufacturing, and I know an awful lot about that if you want to talk about that. Second point is that we already have a decent, very decent level of natural fluoride in the water here. So for those of you that think that we need fluoride in the water, we've got it. And my third point is that we've got the wrong delivery system with the way we're currently adding this acid. There is no research anywhere that I've been able to see that shows that ingesting fluoride is the way to help teeth. Direct application to the teeth is effective in making teeth harder. And so what we have there is toothpaste and other products, and what we need to do, and the City Council and the City of Dallas can be a great big leader in the United States teaching and educating how people can more effectively use that approach if they think that fluoride is the way to go. I really appreciate the fact that you're looking at this seriously. I think that Dallas can really make a great big statement to the United States and to the world by doing this, by being the largest city around to make the change. And if you'll look at the details, and this group has really done a great job of putting forth experts from all around to explain it to you, and I appreciate the fact that you're listening to it and at least considering it. At least most of you are. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to help you. Thank you again for considering it, and let's make a big important decision today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Garrett.
Thank you. Hold on. Mr. Kadane.
I got some questions for you. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're down here. I appreciate you coming down.
Sure.
I think this man knows more about soil than anybody in the country. And I know a lot of us call him Doc. So I appreciate you telling us your concerns about this. Let me ask you this. Do you have a brother?
I do have a brother.
What's he do?
He is a dentist.
Oh, he is. I imagine you all have had several talks about this.
My brother is one of the best endodontists in the United States, Hank Garrett, and he and I have had some knockdown dragouts about this issue. He believes that fluoride is important, and it's a paradigm situation that starts at the universities when you learn from people that you respect and you take that into your business. It's very difficult to get away from that, and I know a lot of the people that you have heard from have been from the dental community. What you have to understand is that dentists are not chemists, and there's a whole lot more to this issue about fluoride use and what's the best way to use it.
Well, and that was my concern. And when I got into this, I'm going to tell you I got into it because of the money, because we were looking for budget funds. We're looking for ways to cut down the water system is the one system that we increase every year, and it's a tax. That's what it is. We tax the water system every year. Let's find a way to cut it down. I saw this as a way to bring us back $1 million. The more I got into it and the more I read, we don't need that extra fluoride, and nobody knows, from what I've read, both sides, how much fluoride we do need. So we're wasting $1 million on 0.21% of fluoride per parts per million. It's just being washed down the drain. And that was where I was coming from with this, and I'm glad you spoke to that. You also have let me think real quick what I had for you. In your business, in what you do, these are things that you know about, you analyze it, you know the soil, you know the dirt. What we're getting today is not pharmaceutical grade fluoride.
No, it's one of the nastiest chemicals around. It actually is kicked off when they make phosphate fertilizer. They treat the phosphate rock with sulfuric acid, and the gases that are kicked off during that process are so toxic that the EPA got involved, and everybody was worried about killing people because it was literally killing plants, plant material all around these manufacturing facilities. So they came up with a way to scrub and collect this toxic residue, and then somebody came up with the brilliant idea to put it into the water system. And it is without question an extremely toxic acid product. There are some others besides the one that Dallas uses, but they're all in the toxic category. I think that the biggest environmental problem that we have as a city, as the state, and as the United States is water, quality and quantity. And the right decision here can really go a long way at moving Dallas in the right direction in that regard.
Do you know anywhere else, anywhere where they use this chemical that they're putting in our water today? Where else is it being used?
Oh, it's used in a lot of other cities around the country and around the world, but more and more cities. One of the websites that we made available to everybody shows all the cities in the United States and all the cities in the world that aren't doing this, and it's a lot more cities than most people realize, so we need to get on board. We'll just be the largest.
But I'm saying, what if they weren't putting that chemical, that fluoride, in our water? Where would they be putting it?
Oh, they'd have to put it in landfills, and it would be considered a toxic waste, and it would have to be paid for with big bucks.
That's what I wanted to hear. Also, I know, and you've studied this, and if you go all over the country, you'll find people that do not even use fluoride, that their dental records are better than ours. We're down closer to the bottom. They're up top. They have great dental records without using fluoride at all. That's right. So, and we're not talking about taking our fluoride out. We're talking about not putting any more in. I think we've got enough today to do that. But I just want to thank you for coming down, and I appreciate your words, and hopefully we'll get some good things done today.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 44 is authorize a 3-year master agreement for the purchase of hydrofluorosilicic acid to be used for the treatment of potable water. Mosaic Crop Nutrition LLC, lowest responsible bidder of 3, not to exceed $1,060,800. We do have 4 individuals registered to speak on this item. Your first speaker is Lawrence Lewinsky. Lawrence Lewinsky is coming forward. James Williams will follow. We do also have a John Finley. Mr. Finley unfortunately could not be here, but did want the record to reflect that he is in favor of the item. Sir, you have 3 minutes to speak.
Morning, Mr. Mayor. Morning, council members. My name is Dr. Lawrence Walensky. I live at 3401 Lee Parkway, Dallas, Texas. I am the Dean of Texas A&M University Baylor College of Dentistry. It's an institution that has been present in this community for 110 years. I stand before you today to request that the City Council vote in favor of continuing the practice of fluoridating the city's public water supply. It would be a tremendous disservice to the citizens of Dallas, especially our children, if this public health service is discontinued. Thanks to the evidence-based science, we know that early in life, when teeth are forming, having adequate levels of fluoride available for incorporation into the new teeth make them much more resistant to tooth decay. This is also true when the teeth are first erupting into the oral cavity. They are porous and easily absorb fluoride. Taking advantage of this developmental period in children's lives increases the ability of their teeth to mineralize, for the enamel to harden, and in turn increase the resistance to tooth decay. Because of community water fluoridation, having access to cavity-fighting substance is simple as taking a sip of water. This is such an important health benefit that the American Academy of Pediatric Dentistry recommends fluoride supplements for children as young as 6 months who live in areas with suboptimal fluoride content in their drinking water. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention touts fluoride as one of the 10 great public health achievements of the 20th century, and volumes of scientific research indicate its benefits. As you all know, fluoride naturally occurs in water and soil in varying levels. These levels can change depending on the region and time of year where the water is sourced. Those who oppose water fluoridation are concerned with fluoride's toxicity. Like any naturally occurring substance, when consumed in excess, the harm can indeed outweigh the benefits. When fluoride levels in water become too high, there is an increased risk of pitting in the teeth, bone tenderness, and a higher incidence of fracture. That's why community water fluoridation is so important, because it regulates the amount of fluoride in the city's water supply with the goal of maintaining an optimal level of 0.7 parts per million. This is the Department of Health and Human Services recommended level. Millions are exposed to this concentration of fluoride with no negative or adverse consequences. Let's compare this to something found in 70% of the kitchens throughout the world. Iodide, a reduced form of iodine, which is added to table salt. Iodide is essential for thyroid function, immune response, even skeletal and nervous system development.
Sir.
Yes.
Move another minute. 3 minutes.
Move to extend.
Move to extend. Please go ahead.
Thank you. But when it's consumed in amounts exceeding the early recommended levels, health issues surface, such as goiter, hypothyroidism, and in acute poisoning cases, burning of the mouth, throat, and stomach. Does that mean we provide a diet for ourselves and our children completely devoid of iodide? No. To take the analogy one step further, complaints that there is too much iodide in our salt and questions why we even add it as in our diet are never brought up. Moderation is the key. The same is true of fluoride. Ceasing fluoridation is counterintuitive to improvement, considering dental decay is one of the most common childhood diseases and is responsible for an estimated 51 million school hours lost among our children. Discontinuing the water fluoridation would save the city a little more than $1 million. This saving would be noteworthy, but the cost to our youngest citizens would be far greater. And again, as I came before you before, I ask you, are you going to deny the same benefit that you had as a child growing up in this community to the children of this community? I urge you to support continued fluoridation of the water system. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Your next speaker, James Williams. Mr. Williams will be followed by Kevin Regis, who will be the final speaker on the item. Sir, please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Dr. Jim Williams. I started practice in Dallas, Texas 55 years ago. I know what every one of you are here for. Every one of you are here to help the citizens of this city. Now, I've studied dentistry all my life. My father was a dentist, my brother's a dentist, my brother-in-law's a dentist. We got 161 years. When I first went into practice, the Dallas school system required a dental examination before the first grade. You could enter the first grade. We worked ourselves silly getting these rotten teeth taken care of. Now, if you think these kids with teeth that are decayed and rotten, if you think that's not misery and pain, I can't describe it to you. I can't describe it to you. In 1965 and 1966, they had a vote to put fluoride in the water. Well, there's about 30 of us dentists that we got big time on it, and that was passed. And we've had that for 48 years. So everybody's kid, if you're under 48 years, you've had the protection of the optimum amount of fluoride in your drinking water. Teeth are built from age 0 to 18. If you're past 18, you're not going to get any benefit, because once the tooth is formed, you can't get fluoride inside of it. Topical fluoride has been invented, and that does help. But these miseries, I mean, you take a 6-year-old kid and you got to put a forceps on there and put your force behind. The kid hadn't slept all night. Mama's over there they're just on edge. It's just pure hell. I lived it. My father was a depression dentist. I saw that. I hate dental decay. I mean, literally, when I went to dental school, I carried with me a gallon jar half full of teeth in formaldehyde. Now, wasn't that a big deal? I mean, you're going to save $1 million. The suffering that's going to come about, it's just, we're the guys that's got to get these kids out of this suffering. It's pure hell. I'm telling you. I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine this great city that sells water to 20 other cities to just abandon this program. It makes absolutely no sense. There's been studies that for every $1,000 you spend, you save $3,800 to $3,900. Thank you.
As a point of personal privilege, thanks for coming down. He's a good member of our church. So thanks.
Your next speaker, Kevin Regis. Mr. Regis, again, will be the final speaker on the item.
Hello, my name is Kevin J. Regis. I reside in District 2. Be honest with you, I had a much different speech than before these guys came up here. I would like to point out that someone did say something that was true. You guys are here for the people. You guys do a service for the people. And the most tremendous thing that you can do for the people is to stop fluoride. Here's the deal. Enamel has... I'll say it like this. There's a Dr. Paul Conant, former chemistry professor. He says, when your argument is weak, they'll go for the argument. They'll destroy the argument. They'll have you leave the room crying because your argument is completely destroyed. When your argument is strong, they'll go for you. They'll go for a more emotional side, as the gentleman before me just did. The kids are in pain. The kids are in pain. Yes, the kids are in pain. But I ask you today to not just listen to dentists because they're dentists. When you go to the doctor, you don't just go to the doctor and listen to anything that he has to say. You hear him, he gives you a prescription, and then you go home and do the research yourself to see if this medication is okay for you. Have you guys done that? I highly recommend that you do this. Don't just listen to dentists because they're dentists. You guys are all intelligent people. No one can sit where you guys are sitting right now without being intelligent. I strongly urge you to be intelligent today and vote no on this agenda. The wisest thing to do for any man, any woman, any child, anyone, the wisest thing to do is hear both sides of the argument. Pro-fluoride, anti-fluoride, weigh them out. Honestly, weigh them out. Don't just listen to this guy or listen to this guy because they told you to. Honestly, weigh these facts out and then make a decision. That is wise. Thank you guys so much for your time. God bless you all.
Thank you.
No further speakers, Mr. Mayor.
Excuse me?
No further speakers.
Thank you. We'll take a motion in a second. Do you want to? Okay, we'll make a motion, Mr. Kadane.
I move to deny this agreement with Mosaic Corp to purchase fluoride.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay.
I got a second.
Mr. Medrano seconded that motion. Discussion. Mr. Kadane.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Mayor, I've studied this a lot more than I needed to. I didn't go on to this to be an expert on fluoride. The EPA gives us an amount of 0.007% maximum fluoride we can use, and we're already up to 5 or better. And who's to say that 0.2% is going to help much more or at all? And we've got a chance to save the water department over $1 million, which we've been taxed every year. The water department raises their prices. Maybe there's a way we can cut those prices. And I'm not saying cut them to jeopardize health. What we've got now in our water is good. They keep saying that the fluoride is what helps run away the cavities. Well, you ingest that fluid, you take it into your belly, and you eliminate it. So I don't know what it's, unless you put it on or spread it on, I don't know how it's helping your teeth in any way, shape, or form. So that's why I think that what we can do here is we've got the fluoride, and I believe the young lady that spoke earlier said it is a win-win situation. And we both win in this situation. We've got the fluoride, and we save the city $1 million in our water system, which could go somewhere else to maybe reduce that amount next year. Dental hygiene is the way you cut cavities. Now, I've been taught that all my life. You keep your teeth clean and floss. That's the way you reduce cavities. It's not by using fluoride. So, you know, I've gotten very adamant about this, that we do have the fluoride, and we've got enough in the system to take care of any fluoridation we need. So I just hope and pray that my colleagues will go along with me, and we'll save our water department this funds. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Callahan.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I respect Howard Garrett come down. I've listened to his radio show over the years, but, you know, this really isn't about beneficial nematodes or Garrett juice that he talks about on the radio. This is really about hard science, and I just candidly and very respectfully think that Howard's out of his league on that subject. Dr. Lawrence Walensky, thank you for coming down, sir, and highly respected president of Texas A&M Baylor College of Dentistry. And he's in favor, folks. He's in favor of it. I have received emails from over 200 dental organizations, American Medical Society, scientific groups, and Dr. Walensky says it's beneficial. I believe him. So the preponderance of the evidence, I think, is in that we should continue to fluoridate our water. I've spoken with other people. Nobody's really doing this around the country. Nobody's really doing this around the world. Wouldn't you think that there would be more studies, independent studies, you know, to try to ferret out what is the truth and not as truthful? So I've looked at this thing every way. My dentist is for it. My parents, they did not have fluoride. They've spent a fortune in their mouths. My sisters and I, we've spent very little. I've had maybe 4 or 5 cavities, baby teeth, and regular teeth my whole life. I drink water right out of the tap every day, and you know, I just don't see that the evidence is on the sides of those. Candidly and frankly, I just think it's junk science. You know, why on earth would we want to turn back the clock and go backwards and really join kind of the Flat Earth Society and remove fluoridation? Because I just feel like science has spoken about this again and again and again, and I think it's time to vote yes and keep this in our city water. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second to deny item 14. We'll take a record vote. So if you're voting yes, you're voting no to item 14. Okay, just to be clear.
Vote.
I'm 44, excuse me, 44. Okay.
All have voted. I'm sorry, I can't see them. All council members are present. Voting in favor of the denial are council members Medrano and council member Kadane. All other 13 council members are voting against. The motion fails, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
I so move.
I second it.
And Ms. Gates, second. Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? No. 2 opposed. Okay. Thank you. Motion carries.